What are some of the other spiritual connections? I want to talk more than just about, the medicine, but this whole, as bad thoughts and bad energy. You taught me a great exercise out on Memorial Field one day with Tai Chi of blowing out the negative energy and pulling up the energy from the earth and showering it over at us. Dr. Bill Akpinar is with me today, and this is a conversation with Dr. Bill, and we're just discussing some of these non-cost, totally effective, ancient, wise ways of maintaining our health. Bill, tell us a little bit more about where you've been in the world and you see this extended family.
Well, to answer your question before, Gordon, one of the key components to the mental health aspect of our existence is a sense of community. We've lost it. In a lot of these cultures that I see, I've seen this in the Aboriginal cultures, to some extent in the Native American culture, the Amazonian cultures, a lot of the Eastern and African cultures, there is a sense of community sharing the joy as well as the pain, and we've lost that connection here. Everything has become high tech, Even the act of sitting together in a family room and watching TV and having popcorn together, that's disappeared. Everyone has their own personal devices, and the connection has been lost. So we've become a very individualized society. People have to go to a shrink or a psychologist or social to vent their problems, while in the past, it was done in a
We would go to our grandparents.
Right.
We'd go to an aunt and uncle.
Exactly. So a lot of these cultures, although it's changing, they've still managed to retain that sense of community. And, this is one of the most important components to mental health in a community. We don't have that.
Bringing that to your practice today, many of these things that are lacking in people, people are addicted to serious alcohol or gambling or drugs to fill a void that is missing in their life. It was Dr. Benjamin Spock who said that today's parents are sacrificing their kids for the sake of getting ahead. I saw you continually with your children, hands-on. And people that come into your office with different illnesses, different problems, what are some of these things that manifest themselves that way? I mean, and how do you diagnose this, or how do you get beyond, okay, obviously a broken arm or a heart attack, a stroke, that, but many of these diseases, what is the diagnosis? How do you come to, listen, I can load you up on chemotherapy. It's now come out that's one of the most toxic, worst things you can do for anybody, spiritually and emotionally. In Europe, they'd send somebody with an emotional, psychological problem. They'd tell them, take 2 weeks vacation. Yeah. Take time off, be around family and friends. When someone comes into your office, Bill, complaining of pain, is it often could be traced back to the psycho?
Well, that's an important point, Gordon, because big part of my practice is pain management. Combining my background in anesthesiology, acupuncture, pain management, dentistry, and my further training in medicine, I treat a lot of pain syndromes to the head, face, neck. A lot of these involve trauma, car accidents, falls, but at the root, there is always some psychological, emotional component attached to it as well that exacerbates it, or sometimes that has something to do with it, even though the injury is traumatic in nature. There are always other variables, and the variable, the component that I try to bring into the equation is one of the holistic equation, utilizing faith. Most problems that people have, psychological problems, are not problems of psychology, but they're problems related to spirituality or the lack of spirituality. So faith, hope, and love have to be brought into the equation. If you look at a person and say, you've got 6 months to live, chances are they're going to die in 6 months. I mean, I've seen it happen. And people have told me, they told these doctors are so great. They told my father he's going to die in 6 months, and lo and behold, he died in 6 months.
Bill, you've seen this with the shaman.
Oh yeah.
And with the Indian doctor who will tell somebody, go out and go see the bone doctor, go sit underneath that tree. This mind is incredible, that connection. And can it be this equally as powerful in the same way to rid yourself of this disease? If it's powerful enough to shut you down and cause you to lose your life energy, wouldn't it therefore be the other way around, that the warm embrace, the opening up your channels with an acupuncture, with a simple massage therapy, having reflexology, these other channels to open up this dis-ease?
Yeah, we utilize them all, Gordon, as you've seen. And really, when you do, you see miracles happen. You know, we don't
Miracles.
We don't rely on, we don't ask for miracles. We depend on miracles. I see people in states so far gone, and a lot of time they've just lost faith. They lost everything. You know, when someone's involved in a motor vehicle accident, they can't work. They've lost the connection to their family because after 3-4 months, nobody wants to hear them complain about the pain anymore. I'm in pain. I can't move. They can't work. A lot of times they get fired or they can't perform their job. And to compound the pain and the misery, the cherry on the cake is the insurance companies, which deny care, or they have these so-called bogus experts, these independent medical examiner types who examine these patients and give their findings that they are fine and there's nothing wrong, well-paid medical opinions. I wouldn't even call them medical opinions. So it's a real stressor, and many of these people are alone. They're alone, they feel fear, they feel panic, and you know, to someone losing their house, their job, their family, the connection to who they are, what they were, it's a tragedy. And you know, when you bring in faith, you bring in positivity, you try to give them hope, you try to give them, you know, an emphatic approach, it really goes far in the healing equation.
As I said earlier, we dedicated this program to my friend Reverend Dr. Renwick Jackson.
God rest his soul. Yeah.
God rest his soul is right. And he also would always say, if you're looking for your answer from love, through love you can find your answer. If you're trying to react through fear, that's blocking all these health issues and different things. And relating to what you said about President Obama's inaugural speech and promise, what are your thoughts about the Obamacare and his health? Will that be a better system? Do you think? We know this system is broken, totally
Right.
dysfunctional.
Right.
People are at a loss, losing their homes. Is there anything with your experience, with your colleagues, that with this Obamacare might be going in a certain direction? Or
I think the essence, the core of it, like everything else, involves good intentions. It involves faith and hope and a sense of wanting to better our society and people. What it's going to turn out to be, God only knows, because you know, these things become convoluted. Fair. The end product is never what it begins as, and you know, there's the equation, the human greed equation that, you know, and you see this is rampant. You know, you look at the statistics in the U.S., you look at the amount of money spent per capita, and you look at the level, the quality of care is probably so low. You know, look at life expectancy. Cuba is number 35. We're 42 in life expectancy, for God's sakes. 42. You know, so I mean,
I recently became certified by the Queen's Bar Association in their guardianship program. And the general consensus I got is that in the United States here, you as a patient are really nothing more than a commodity.
Unfortunately,
and
yes.
every night that hospital bed is empty, somebody is losing money. You have the detail men trying to farm out their drugs and, you know, get this kickback. And we hear the horror stories every day. I think it was just another pharmaceutical company was just indicted on bribing officials in Russia or China. In China, I think it was.
Yeah.
And it's a false. It's not a good. As I look at your little icon here and this other one, there's something that's so false about it. And trying to incorporate, Bill, not only a modern Western as a modern Western doctor, what are some of the other incorporations that you're putting into your practice?
Well, as I indicated before, Gordon, I try to bring all of the good things that I picked up from my studies, from the scriptures, from personal experience. You know, they say use what's in the world of Eastern medicine. Take what's good, use it, discard the bad. So anything that doesn't work, get rid of it. And take things that are time-tested. The scriptures have a lot of good medicine, you know, a lot of wisdom related to how to eat, sleeping, peace of mind. And if you apply this to any existing medical system, it's going to get better. Let's face it, you're not going to get rid of Western medicine, and there's no reason to get rid of it, because you're not going to have a guy holding chicken feathers over a fractured bone or a heart attack. That's not going to work. But by the same token, it's overpowering everything, and people are being tested, they're being overtreated, overprescribed, and I believe that people are finally beginning to integrate. They call that integrative medicine.
Yes.
Integrate the world of holistic or naturopathic medicine into this medicine. That's why I've established the University of Health and Spiritual Sciences, and I'm Dean of the University of Natural Medicine. We are at the forefront globally of bringing natural medicine and spiritual medicine, actually, into an integrated model with Western medicine.
I'm so glad you brought up the university that you founded, Bill.
Yes.
I'm so glad you brought that up, because we just have a few moments now, and we're going to wrap up. And I can't thank you enough for coming down here today. And we're going to be hearing Dr. Bill Akpinar playing Amazing Grace on the upcoming music that's coming on here. I can't thank you enough, Bill. Thank you for being here today.
God bless you, Gordon, and God bless the crew and the producers of this great company. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Queens Public Television. And if you'd like further information, you may contact Dr. Bill at his office. Thanks again, Bill.
Thank you, Gordon.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, now I see.